welcome to something new. I know you're probably all confused watching this. Essentially, what I decided to do was start something. That's rude. I'm sorry. So what I decided to do was I started something different. What this will be is the In My Opinion podcast. I'll pretty much just talk about stuff, whatever it is, just me talking, whatever it may be. We'll figure it out. Figuring out is what I like to do. Sometimes you just got a game plan and you just stick with it, and sometimes you have to make an audible, and the audible changes or whatever. So today I wanted to talk about some stuff, why I'm doing this, what would bring this on, and just what I'm dealing with lately. To start off, I know a lot of you guys, either that you know me or you've watched some of the stuff I've made, or in my opinions. I have a lot of stuff I have a lot of issues with anxiety, stress. I really I'm in my head too much. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure I could be diagnosed as something wrong, but I don't know what it's called, and I don't know why I'm doing this or why I do it. I have a lot of situations I could talk about, a lot of stories I could talk about, but pretty much is that I hit 30, and I put out a video for that, in my opinion, little small in my opinion thing. And I put a video for that out, and it made me feel like I appreciate people more. I really do enjoy the relationships and people that I know and have time with. It's been not even just my channel. It's just been my life, and I realize that life is, it's something important that I think you shouldn't take for granted, I guess. I had like a existential thing where I felt like I wanted to live life the way I wanted to live it. I wanted to really take stock of what I had. So that was a thing that I did, and some parts of my life is a little bit too late. Some of the parts of it I feel like I could still change, and we'll talk about that. But essentially is what happened is that I was going through anxiety issues and dealing with this new lease on trying to really not take life for granted. And in doing so, I had this whole kind of situation with my roommate / ex where we had come to terms with us breaking up. And I technically, I guess I didn't. I think I was naive on the part that I didn't think that this was something that was over. And I guess it was for her. I mean, where she went wrong or what she did wrong is not my concern, or not something I need to talk about. I'm not going to sit here and talk about or beat her into the ground and say she did this wrong. Personally, I think I'm this type of person who wants like a communication between people. Like, I've always been that type of way. I think communication is important, whether it's video games, whether it's just life, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends. I think communication is very important, and I think if you live with that person, or if you are around this person, or just around people in general, you should have the type of communication where you're on the same page and you're not having any issues, and that should be it. But I think that's where she did something that I didn't like, and I had issues with it, and I kind of came to terms with the fact that we weren't going to be dating again, which again I think is my fault. I didn't think that I really registered in my head, so it kind of all hit me at once. So it's just been, I don't know, nothing to look forward to. COVID has kept me from doing nothing, and it turns out you can do stuff now. That was the thing I was upset by. The biggest problem in finding out that my roommate moved on is that she said she went to the movie theaters. I was like, when the fuck did the movie theaters open? I didn't get to see New Mutants, not that I really wanted to. But I don't have anything. I don't have Black Widow coming out. I don't have anything to look forward to. They just put New Mutants out because of course they're going to put it out because Who the fuck's gonna care about New Mutants? Excuse me. I just don't see the point in caring about New Mutants. It's not really that important to care about New Mutants because I don't think New Mutants is gonna be that good. It's been in development hell for like 2 years. They finally put it out, and it's gonna do badly because COVID. Surprisingly, it was doing bad before COVID, but now it's definitely not coming out because of COVID. Well, it's definitely not gonna do good because of COVID. It's just a concept that makes me kind of frustrated. That like I can go out and do stuff now. And the concept that now I don't have, coming out of COVID, I don't have anyone to really kind of hang out with or chill with. And I guess I'm not that type of person to even want to do that, but it's just still like, it's tough, dude. It's tough to sit there and have this other person that you hang out with go and do whatever else and not care about like what you're doing. And now I gotta fucking sit here and do my videos again and just live my life. I don't know. It's been a tough ride, this COVID. We're recovering from COVID, and we'll work on it. And like I said, I want to get people in here. We'll talk about situations, just scenarios, just talk about life again, as if it's normal. It's the concept that we want to just talk about things that are, I don't know, life. I just want to have fun with this. I want to have fun with this and just talk about whatever. Do what my videos do and just kind of just fuck around and have a good old time. That's pretty much it. I just want to talk about stuff, like stuff that's becoming new or becoming back to normal. Football started again. Not that I give a shit about football, but sports in general, good for sports. I like sports. Sports are fun. Sports are always fun. Go Birds. You could say go Birds and it'll mean anything. It could mean the Falcons. It could mean the Hawks. The Hawks? The fuck is the Hawks? You could mean the Falcons, the Eagles, the Blue Jays, the Hawks, the Pelicans. I'm pretty sure I'm mixing up sports, but you could just talk about whatever, really. It's just the same stuff over and over again. It's the football sports games. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Whether or not think that sports need to be something that we have around anymore. Not anymore, right now. I mean, I know people are getting antsy and they want something to watch, but like sports, you can show how much people are addicted to sports when it comes to, when it starts back up, people are like set on being like, we need this. We need to bring back the sports. We need to bring back stuff. We need to bring back basketball. We need to bring back hockey. We need to bring back football. It's, I don't know whether it's, excuse me, in my state at least, they have Pennsylvania, and I think New Jersey are doing like sports betting, which is all you fucking hear on the radio anymore. When I drive to work, all I hear is just sports bets and sports betting, and get your bets in now, and no risk, and it's, I don't know. Gambling itself just seems like less of a fun thing to do. I've always been a hands-on type of person, do it yourself. You know, that's why I play video games. That's why I like playing sports and not watching sports. It's really, I don't know. It's I don't get it. To be quite honest, I don't get it. I don't get stats on things. Stats on anything, really. Like, someone could be like, oh, do you have a 20 kill in Apex? And I'm like, sure. I don't know. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I don't think I'm that good at this point. But, like, I don't know. I have no clue. I haven't played Siege in forever. I'm sure I could go pro there. I would be, honestly, one of the best gridlocks I've ever seen. Gridlock is probably one of my favorite players, but she's thick as hell. It's a fun joke. I'm just gonna hit the button. Um, it's just fun.
Boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.
So I mean, Gridlock is probably my best character. There's somebody else I can't think of that I play as all the time. Frost. I don't know. I honestly think that I could go pro in a game if I tried hard enough. I think putting that attention or time in, and I guess I'm worried. I'm worried about the risk putting into it, because if you put in the risk of trying to be a pro gamer or pro esports player, it's very hard. I sit there and like watch a lot of the esports, like the R6 competitions, and it's just like, it's one, you have to have four other players on your team who are on the same, their gears are spinning the same way yours are, and that's difficult as shit. Esports, I hate people saying, like the Joe Rogan controversy. Recently, Joe Rogan said that he thought that esports or sports is not fun, or it's a waste of time, I guess. Now, I don't think he meant it in a way to be rude towards sports, because he plays sports himself, but I think it's a concept of that he saw it as you didn't get something coming out of it. Like, you don't get anything. I mean, you get satisfaction, I think. My viewpoint is you do get a satisfaction out of playing games. I think is John Lennon, who said wasted time enjoyed is time well wasted, or something like that. I don't know the quote, but it's like, if you spend your time, if you waste your time on something you enjoyed, then it's not wasted. You know what I mean? You don't consider it wasted because of the fact that you enjoyed the time you had. So it's not wasted time. It's like being petty and saying that you haven't gone to the Ren Fair when everyone keeps going and you don't get to go because it's a social gathering. I want to smell horse manure. I assume it's going to smell like horse manure and steel and chainmail. Ugh. One of my favorite passions that I don't really show on the channel is that I love Bouldar's Gate and like just strategy games like D&D. And if someone came across to me, as someone has recently, came across to me and said, "Hey, we're going to get online. We're going to do Zoom meetings and we're going to do a D&D campaign with a bunch of people," I'd be like, fucking sign me up. Also, I have to go walk away for a second because I need to go ring one out because I'm just fully erect. That is the concept that I think. Being so, I love the concept of D&D. D&D is one of the greatest things that I've ever done. Even if it's for, like, I did like three nights of a campaign. 3 nights of a campaign. I had a awful job when I started. And I'll talk that story about when my best friend at one point wanted to do a D&D campaign. He lived somewhere at least close where I'm at now, and it was far away. I don't think I had my license at that point. I was with a girl, my ex at the time. Well, I guess it wasn't my ex at the time. My girlfriend at the time. She, I think the night we decided on doing it, or the night we did it, she got so drunk I had to drive her home without my license. I drove a Cadillac or a Buick. I don't know if it's Buick or Cadillac. Buick Rendezvous. It's like an SUV. And I had training at this point, but I didn't have my license. Like, if I got stopped, I was fucked. But she was so just not messed up. She wasn't that messed up. But like, if she was stopped, she would have been fucked too. So I was like, well, why don't I drive? I'll drive and I'll get home. And it wasn't a problem. It's not like I crashed the car or anything like that. But that night, it was when like we tried to play D&D, and D&D is one of the greatest feelings I've ever had. It's one of the greatest things to just spend time with people. It's a lot of work to be put in. It's like one long ass board game. If you've never played D&D, I advise you to do it just a bunch. Do it every campaign you can. It's really based on your imagination and just how you just how you perceive the world or how do you look at situations. It's a lot of that kind of stuff with making sure that you look at something in all these different ways or look at things. It's like acting. This is why the show Critical Role does so well. Critical Role being, for people who don't know, the show, it's where a bunch of voice actors that do video games and all that stuff, they do a D&D campaign and they like get into their role and they talk about, they really get into it. And it's really fun to just get into a character and just be somebody else. I personally love being a character and being somebody else. It shows how much I don't like myself. How much I don't like myself is how much I want to be somebody else. I always had like a fantasy about wanting to be a costume mascot at like Disney World or something like that. Like Stitch or Buzz Lightyear or someone cool to just kind of go around the park and just wave to people and just make people's days. It's just cheering people up, making people feel good. That's all I ever want to do. I want to just have take that as you will. That could be super sexual, but not at Disney World. Not at Disney World. I would never do that at Disney World. But like, it's the concept of like, I want to just make people happy. That's my goal going into most things that I do. I want to make people be happy or just help people do things better. It's such a fucking mess to think that my whole concept of wanting to do all this stuff, it really kind of equesters on how I was perceived in this recent relationship. And that's the kind of thing where it's like, I thought I was going in thinking, or I was evaluating it thinking that I'm a good person and I'm not as bad as I think I am. I don't know. I don't have that outside force to tell me, hey, you're kind of being a dick. Besides that other person. That other person is the person telling me, and I don't know if I trust that person to tell me the honest truth, because they could just want something to be true because they want to be on the right, or they want to be right. Again, it's just with me and my most recent ex, it's tough, and it's gonna take a lot of recovering to be normal again. And it's just, relationships are that way. It's just, it takes work to try to get back to normal. I think things were just like fixed like that for her, and that's not something I can do. And I think she's realizing that and being very appreciative or being very kind and caring about how I'm dealing with this. And that's good. I mean, I don't want to hate her. I don't want to, bring this. That's like at 30, I don't want to fight with people anymore. I just want to live my life and enjoy. And if people don't want to be the same way I feel or feel the same way I feel, then I don't fucking want to deal with them. I really want nothing to do with them. I want to live the way I want to live, and I don't want to push people away if they don't like what I like. I'm just saying that I don't need negativity or people trying to push things on me. And I'm not going to be like, I don't care what you say, I'm just going to do what I want. I'm just saying that I just don't find it reason to just sit there and just deny someone something they want, or I don't know, opinion gets so weird because, excuse me, say the example of this situation. It's like, say my roommate wanted me to do something. I would think that, well, I don't want to do that. But when it comes down to it, I'm in the wrong there, because I have to realize that this is a ecosystem of the two of us, and you have to take responsibility and do things that you're not going to want to do sometimes. And that's something that I think that sometimes my pettiness or my resentment towards her about something else or something in general would get in the way of that. And that's something you should not do. Like, I'm thinking that I'm just trying to like live my life and be responsible, but really I was petty most of the time. I was petty for a good majority of the situations that happened, and that's my fault. And whether or not I've screwed that up for myself, and down the line I can't really come back from that. That's on me. But it's just so fresh in my mind still. It's fucking annoying, and that's why I want to just talk. I'll just talk and just see who will listen. I I can honestly care less who listens. I just want to talk. Hopefully I can get plenty of people. There's plenty of people who have channels. There's plenty of people who don't have channels who I want on this thing to just talk about stuff and situations and just tell stories and just get fun times out there and just fucking have fun with it. Like Jake, I went on, who's been on my channel, Justin, maybe AJ if he's got time, because kids are hard to deal with. Kids are hard and annoying, but people who want to just talk and hang out and they don't need to see you don't need to see their face, but they just can be on here. Kibbles has a channel on Overwatch, Ouchies, and he does a lot of other stuff. But he could talk and just kind of hang out and whatever. But just people. Like, maybe I'll even get my roommate in here and we can talk about stuff and just, I don't know, hopefully talk about whatever. Have fun. Because there's one thing I want to do is get back to normal or feel like things aren't tense. Because things are feeling tense now, for me at least. That's the thing that kind of gets me bothered, is that they're not an issue for her right now. And that bothers me because it's like, you spend this time with this person, and I'm getting through it. Like, it's like I said, things between, like, especially with relationships, are hard. Like, some people don't want to go into relationships because of the fact that you'll ruin a friendship that way. Because there's things that are different. There's friendship and a relationship are very different. What I'd want out of life is to marry someone who I consider my best friend, but I don't want to go into something thinking they are just a friend. I think when they feel like they're more to me, that's who I'd want to be with me. Like, I know I'd have fun with them like a friend, but I don't really consider them just a friend. It's hard to look at someone like that and be like, oh, you're just a friend to me, or I don't know. It's difficult. It's really just something it takes work, or it really you kind of have to narrow it down. I've only been in a few relationships. Like, I can't really speak for everybody, but I think from my experience, I think that I want to date someone who I consider like my best friend. They should be your best friend. They should be the person that kind of keeps you happy, the person that you like to keep happy, the person that you just love spending time with. It's just simple. I don't think it shouldn't be that hard. I think what I dealt with in past relationships where it was like people wanted me to do things that I weren't really comfortable with. And I just wasn't ready to do that, I guess. I mean, in the past, I've had stupid things. Like, I've had a relationship end because I wasn't willing to make changes. Because I wasn't willing to just like, go with the flow and just kind of move on and take a leap of faith. And it's hard to take a leap of faith, especially when, like, with this situation, I had to move somewhere. And it's hard to just be like, I'm just going to think this is going to work. Like, I second guess myself so much that it's just such a, I'm gonna fail at something and be left with nothing or something like that. And that's the concept that I feel like it's a lot of the things where you just sit there and go, what if this doesn't work out? And you think about just the negatives, and that's what I think I have the problem with. I'm very a negative person when it comes to in my head. Like, when it comes to being outside and talking to me, like when you see me every day, I'm very positive. I like to be very positive and not think the worst of people. The problem is, in my head, it's a different story. It's very hard to just take faith and take leaps on stuff. I would love to be that person and be like, just don't think about it. It's just difficult. It's difficult to just do that. You can't just kind of keep going and just doing things spontaneously. That's not really life to live. I think when you do, you can have those things, a little best of both worlds, where you do things spontaneously but have some logic in it, and that's, I think, something that you really need to, be cautious about, like where you take your spontaneous choices, or when you do your spontaneous shit. But it's just tough. It's tough to be. It's hard to be human. as they say. I think that's a Pink song. It is a Pink song. It's Hurts to Be Human? I don't know. I've heard it recently and I don't fucking remember the lyrics. It's Pink, I think. It's Pink, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know. Life is tough, dude. Or at least life is tough for me. I don't know. I feel like I say life is tough and people be like, no, it's not. I mean, some things are difficult to deal with. I think a lot of life is... It doesn't have to be as hard as people make it. I think a lot of people get so bored that they kind of fill their time with things that aren't important. And I got fucking shitloads of pops all over this room. And it's something that I enjoy. I wouldn't say it's something that's pointless, but it's something that I enjoy. But I mean, like, starting drama. Like, I used to work at a job for 9 years of people just had nothing better than do. They just act like the place was high school. And, like, thank God I'm out of it. Like, even now, like, I feel like my heart goes out to you if you still work at a place like that. Where it's just constant, like, you know, this person said this or this person said this. And it's just completely rumors. It's kind of pointless to live that way. It's sad. You have nothing better to do than just talk about who's doing what. Mind your own fucking business. You got your own shit going on. I hate that. It's just so stupid. To be living that way and just be able to just kind of do whatever the fuck you feel like, or start shit. Just start shit. You're just starting shit. Let's be honest. You're just starting shit and finding things to start shit with people, like whether you like them or not. I think a lot of people in that work environment I had were always like, they had that person that they wanted to start shit with and make shit up because either they were way too happy for living or working at that place, or they were just, I don't know, out to get someone just because they didn't like their face or something. I mean, I've done it before. I've seen someone's face and be like, I don't like that person. I don't like that person. Other than that, it's been you show me if I like you. Like, it's a concept of like, you either do something or you don't do something that would make me upset or think that you have very little respect for someone. I think a lot of the concept is respect. Respect for the other person and knowing what they want or knowing what they want to be or be to you is the concept. I think it's respect in relationships. Relationships not being like, you know, kissing someone or whatever. Relationships as far as you and somebody else and where your relationship goes as far as that person. There's people that you'll be friends with and it'll just fade out and you'll just stop talking to that person in general. Excuse me. I don't know. I burped, but I don't think I said excuse me. And you just never really see that person again. There have been friends that I've had that I've loved to meet again because I feel like we kind of just faded out. There's people, like, you look at the beginning of my YouTube stuff, was with Warren. He is a great guy, and I think a lot of the times, not to sound rude, but sometimes he gets lost in what he's doing. Sometimes he gets caught up in stuff, or he's just very spontaneous with what he does. And I guess that's a way to live. I mean, I can't do that. I need more of a structure to be like, one day I'm going to try to start doing this, or one day I'm going to start doing that. I think a lot of the stuff is easier to do when I don't do drugs or alcohol. And I think that's part of the problem, or part of the situation where I think that I need structure, because if I was drinking or constantly smoking weed or whatever, I don't think that I would be able to get anything done. I don't think I would ever get something done. I would be a wreck. I would just ruin things and situations for people, and it would just be pointless. I think that I'm an angry drunk. I'm probably an angry drunk. I don't know what kind of drunk I am. I've never drank. But it's that concept of I don't think I would be a good person. I barely think I'm a good person now. I honestly don't think I'm a good person right now. That's partially the issue of why I wanted to just talk and kind of vent out my situations and my frustrations on all this stuff. But yeah, I don't see myself as a good person necessarily. I think I kind of lose my way, and I think I act way too humble for what I really am. I think at times I'm very noble, like self-righteous. I've done that before to people. I've done that before to people where I've been self-righteous and acting like I'm better than them. Maybe not on purpose, but I think seeing someone's mistake and being able to see where you change it is good. I think a lot of the times that when I see that situation and people don't really learn from their mistakes, that was the kind of situation where I was working at that job that I was saying about. That job is a lot of people doing the same shit, wondering why something happens, and then going back to the same shit again. Never changing, never trying to evolve, never trying to change things that are inherently bad for them, but they keep doing it. I'm sure there's plenty of people who've, they'll get into bad habits or not learn anything from what they're doing or try to start something new from when something old is still going on. Like, it's just starting something new to try to think that this is going to help them feel better. It's hard to see that and then see that this is not going to make you feel any better. It's just going to complicate things more. I've seen that plenty of times, and again, I feel like it's not so much me trying to be holier or better than anyone else. It's just you see these patterns that people make, and you think like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? What are you trying to hold true? And that's where I think is like, well, most people, they don't care. They don't want anything out of life. They don't want, I watched a documentary last night about Howard Ashman. Howard Ashman was the lyricist and songwriter for Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and Aladdin. He unfortunately died of AIDS, contracted by HIV, and he tried so hard to do everything he could before he left this world. And that is such a weird way to live, because it's sad. It's sad that you have to live that way and be like, I want to do this thing. And I was watching it the whole time and thinking that Howard Ashman just seems like a cool dude. He was just making things that, and this is where like I relate to him, where I am also gay. No. He was a gay man, by the way. I didn't mention that, but he was gay. And that's why I was trying to make that joke. I am also gay. I'm not, though. What I relate to him was that when he wrote music, and he had music that he wanted to use for these movies, he used these movies as a way to tell the story going into the movie. Like, you look at Part of Your World, you look at Arabian Nights, you look at the opening scene for Beauty and the Beast. He's worked on all of them. He works on all these things to show you how the world is and story build these stories that are going to start or begin or you're watching right now. And it kind of gets in and you kind of learn while learning this really nice song that you'll remember for forever. And how many people know Part of Your World? I know Part of Your World, and I don't even like The Little Mermaid that much. I could sing the whole song if I really wanted to. I'm a Disney person, but I'm not a big fan of Little Mermaid. My favorites are like, Lilo and Stitch. I recently watched Princess and the Frog maybe like a year ago. I love that movie just because of Keith David, and just the songs are very New Orleans, and I like that. What else? I like the songs from Hunchback, but I don't think I really like the movie too much. It's very sad and depressing for a Disney movie, but I guess that's why people like it. I don't know. Atlantis. What else? I don't mind Moana. I'm getting off topic. Topic? I'm getting off topic there. So I watched this Howard Ashman, though. This a gentleman who was a gay man. And when I watched it, I was very inspired by the fact that he made these stories that he told. Stop doing the voice. He made these stories out of these songs and kind of created this exposition by making these songs. And it's how you should do it. It's how I think Disney did it from now on after that. Maybe not with like Home on the Range or like Tarzan or like songs that don't really base it off of music. Atlantis. He based this concept of doing this exposition through music. And it's great. It's a great concept to use. He changed the fucking game as far as, as far as storytelling in Disney movies. You look at Cinderella and you look at Snow White. You listen to the songs. They're not something that bases around the story. It's just kind of a song, When You Wish Upon a Star or, whatever. It's not really kind of telling the story or kind of progressing things along. It's kind of just a song. So Howard Ashman had died from AIDS, and he tried his hardest to sit there and make as much as possible with all the time that he had. And that was the part that was like really got to me, because when it came down to it, one day he was in the park. This is where it really blew me away. It's because not only did he try really hard to make these movies with these songs and make these songs just really great and tell you the world and explain everything. It was the fact that when he was in Disney World watching a parade for Little Mermaid, he thought, I didn't realize how much of an impact these songs would have on everybody. And that's just fucking... That's like Madman... Like the nicest madman you know. To be like, I want to make these songs because they're going to be great and they're going to be wonderful. And you're like, yeah, and people will love them. And you go, oh, right, people will love them too. And you're like, how'd you not think that? That would just be such a big deal to people. It's like you think about how much of an impact, especially me being, like, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 90s. Literally the year 1990. You realize how much of an impact that those Renaissance movies had on everybody in my age range? Just Disney movies in general? Maybe not everybody. Not everyone's a Disney, a big Disney fan. But, like, everybody in that age range has probably had some kind of impact with them. With Little Mermaid, whether it's Beauty and the Beast, whether it's, Mulan, Hercules. It's just, Disney is a big part of that childhood. For me, and I'm sure plenty of others. It's Disney is important, I think. I like Disney. I know there's a big deal. Actually, lately I saw a lot of articles about adult Disney fans, which is like they're creepy and weird, and they're very, very uncomfortable and weird, and they're strange, and I don't understand that, because one, it's coming from nostalgia. It's like saying that, I don't know, anything really. Any kind of nostalgia saying like, oh, I really am into the Rugrats. And you're like, yeah, because as a kid you watched it and you're like, it's really great. It's a great show because you have these expectations or these concepts of what Rugrats is and you enjoy it. There's plenty of things that I could think of with me and with people I know where they'll look at something and say like, things I don't understand myself, like Rocket Power. Say like Rocket Power. I never liked Rocket Power. I didn't understand Rocket Power. I'd watch it as a kid. I'm like, yeah, cool. But I am not someone who's into Rocket Power at all. Because it is just sports and extreme sports. And I don't get it. And I don't understand it. And it's really one of those things that you have to do in order to enjoy it. For me, I'd have to enjoy it. I'd have to enjoy it by doing it myself. And I'm not the best athletically. I'm not the best athletically whatsoever. I'm just some guy who likes a good rush. I love a good, adrenaline rush and a good kind of like doing some cool shit while I'm on a skateboard and feeling the wind and being able to just kind of really live in a moment and just enjoy that shit. That's what I like about Rocket Power. If they made a Rocket Power like VR game, I'd be like, fuck yeah, that looks awesome. It's like being in the Iron Man suit. That Iron Man VR, same concept. I would love to be I love to be Iron Man. Would I want to have to kill people? No, because I have a little bit more sensitivity to that. Regardless of whether or not I'd want to kill them or not, or whether they're gonna kill me or not, I still have a problem with taking someone's life. This is getting really dark, super dark. But it's just that concept of like I would never think it's something where it's just like that should be taking another person's life. I don't think you have the right to do that. I'll talk about more on another podcast. We're gonna wind it down here. But I just wanted to just kind of have an open discussion and just talk about stuff and talk about life and what life's about, I guess, and what's about life that's important to you. Leave in the comments below if you guys have any kind of opinions or anything you agree with or anything you disagree with. It's an open discussion. I'm just here to talk, and I'm gonna wind it down here. I'm gonna try to get more videos out, try to edit more videos, and just kind of have the motivation to do it. I think that's the main point. I don't have any motivation to do it. I've been quite, for lack of a better term, depressed, I guess. It's been tough. I'm trying to get myself out of this lump, or this lump? Lump, whatever. My lovely lady lumps. But I think that it's the concept of I'm just trying to get better and feel better about myself. I'm gonna be honest, all this stuff that's been going on emotionally for me, I think personally if you take a step back, it's not that big of a deal. But when it comes down to how I feel, it's hard for me to process and hard for me to deal with. And it's kind of just putting me in a sour mood. And, you know, it's just dealing with myself. It's dealing with myself to a point of trying to get better and feel better about myself, for the main part. So that's it. I mean, I just wanted to try this out, see how well this will go. Maybe get some friends on here and talk about, I don't know, simple things. Talk about and just have a nice discussion. So yeah, this is episode 1 of the In My Opinion podcast, where I'll just talk about stuff and just go on rants. I'm gonna try to stay more focused most of the time. But I think I got a lot on my mind that it's hard to try to get everything out of the way and express how I feel. I mean, there'll be more episodes. I'll get off my chest some things. But I mean, it's simple. I think it's just treating people how they want to be treated and how they want to be loved and just, I don't know, just understanding another person's empathy. And that's the main point that I think is important about life and a relationship with another person. Again, regardless of a friendship, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, family, friend, whatever. It's understanding and empathizing with someone else. That is the main point that most people should go through, is empathizing with someone else, understanding how they feel, and just trying to be someone that understands that other person, I guess. Because you should be able to realize what this person wants, or realize what this person is dealing with, or this person is trying to do, or how they feel. I mean, you can have the empathy all you want, but when it comes down to it, it's, do you respect it? You know, if someone's trying to fuck you over or try to do something behind your back or do something without your knowledge or without, excuse me. Woo. I made the decision of eating before I did this because I didn't want to miss out lunch before I went to work, which I'm going to have to go to soon. But it's even a situation of being fucked over or someone doing something because they either think that you'll be better if you don't know, or if you're better that you do know. It's the concept that you can take that as you want and see where that would go as far as your relationship with that person. Like, if someone kept lying to you and someone kept lying to you, or if someone kept doing the same things over and over again, you don't want to sit there and be like, well, I guess I'll just hang out with this person because they don't seem like they're trying to just not give a shit about me. Because eventually you got to realize that that person really doesn't care. They just want to kind of string you along, or do this stuff that will make you continue to do something that they'll get something out of it, or they'll be able to hang out with you, or, you know, hopefully you don't have someone that's selfish and want you to be around them for something that they need or something that they want. You know, life is a hard type of relationship where you have to find a balance with people. And, you know, I'm sure you've had situations with someone that's just not seeing eye to eye to you. You know, it's difficult to do something like that. It's difficult to just kind of have that, I don't know, upfront and honest kind of disclaimer to someone. But that's it. I think I'm going to cut it there. I can talk more about the situation. Maybe we'll talk about a certain thing next week. Maybe I'll bring up some stuff. Maybe I'll have a guest. I don't know. We'll see how this one is perceived or taken, and we'll go from there. Right now, I just want to put one out there and see how it goes, because I felt like this is more laid back, more of a chilled kind of concept, and not me trying to just get something out just for the sake of having a video put out. I might do these every month. I might do them every other couple of weeks. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear, because that's what I'm doing right now. Point is that when I came in going into this, I was making a video explaining to everyone that I was very depressed and very not in the best mindset. And that's where I was like, this feels good to just kind of be in front of a camera and just talk about what I'm feeling. And that's what I figured I'd try. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what this will be for now on. Maybe I'll have someone else talk with me. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's it. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, whatever method you were listening to this. And I don't know. I guess I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you listening to all me ramble about this, or hearing my bullshit, or hearing me talk for a good hour. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
That's the one I'm going to say all the time, just because it means, what's the weather?
Well, I'm checking because it looks like certain areas have different codes.
All units. We have a 1013 progress.
Apparently 1126 is an abandoned bicycle.
What?